What is up, guys? Ken Disney here, bringing another battle. This is my first Black and White 2 upload to this channel, and I'm pretty excited about it just because, I got all the big threats. I'm using a rain team, and this guy, this is my first time battling him. It's on a group called Team Aqua, and he's got a pretty versatile team himself. He's got some pretty big threats in Genesect, Terrakion, Rotom Wash, Latias is always a threat to me, and then Jellicent pretty much walls my Keldeo, so I gotta be careful around it. But without further ado, let's get this battle started. And seeing the fact that he had no weather starters, of course, I feel pretty safe in leading my Politoed, because Politoed gets up the rain, helps the rest of my team out. He's going to lead off of his Rotom, and, Politoed does what it does best, being a defensive Politoed, and it's going to scout out what exactly this Rotom wants to do. So I'm going to protect first turn just to scout on what he wants to do, and I do believe he does go for the Volt Switch, which is perfectly fine by me. Now, I'm not entirely sure if he's choiced or not, but the way he switches out here, I'm definitely sure he is Scarfed. So, out comes Genesect, he double switches because he's predicting probably, I'd have to assume my Landorus to come out, which is exactly the play I make. I go right out into my Landorus, my Ethereum Landorus form, and this thing does a lot of work this game, I must say, just because Landorus-T is such a versatile threat. I mean, it's even bulkier, in my opinion, than Gliscor, because it aims to intimidate and all. But, out comes my Ferroforms that do not want to take an Ice Beam, and he goes exactly for that, not wanting to overpredict. Perfectly fine by me, but the problem is he gets the Freeze, and that really stinks. Unfortunately, the Freeze, freezing sucks in general, but, it just pretty much completely makes my Ferroform useless. And now he's going to switch out, and he possibly, when this battle was going on, I was puzzled to see him go into Rotom, but, I stay frozen, and I just pretty much leaving in Ferroform to die here, I guess. But, the Rotom goes for the Hidden Power Fire, which I probably should have seen coming, but I didn't really care because Ferroform's frozen, can't do much. So, yes, boom, HP Fire, and it does a pretty hefty chunk even in the rain, but luckily that actually defrosts my Ferroform, which is amazing. So, going to get off a Leech Seed on the Rotom, which is amazing as well, because, residual damage is residual damage, and this thing is definitely proving to be a pain in my butt. So, get all that recovery of Lefties and Leech Seed, and it's a standard Ferroform of defensive, physically defensive investments and special defensive investments. So, but just because of that, I'm pretty much at full health. I'm back to like half health, which is amazing. So, going to protect, get more health as he goes again for an HP Fire. Of course, I'm going to do anything in protecting, but after this play, it's just, I make a pretty stupid play because I completely forget about Jellicent. So, and for those who don't know, Jellicent completely walls Keldeo, and only, of course, unless it's running HP Ghost or HP Grass. And, since he's locked in HP Fire, I decide now is a good time to bring in my Keldeo as he, goes for the HP Fire. And, of course, in the rain, it's going to do very minimal to my Keldeo, my pony, and stuff. So, but I think Resolute Form is amazing. I personally am not a brony, but Keldeo is an amazing pony, I will admit. But, the Lefties and the Leech are getting back up to full health, which is pretty good. And, he's going to switch out, and he's going to do probably what the best thing you do against any Keldeo is go into your Jellicent. And I completely face-palmed here because I'm like, oh, Jellicent. Well, too bad I'm a sub-Calm Minder with my stab moves. So I'm going to be forced to switch out with a substitute at basically waste some of my Keldeo's HP, which is kind of sucky, but I'm going to switch out, go into my Politoed, because Politoed can take anything that Jellicent has for it. I don't care if it gets toxic, because pretty much Politoed's probably the most useless member of my team at this point, because it's got the weather up, it doesn't really need to do too much else, especially since it's defensive and stuff. He goes for the Scald. I'm not going to get a burn, which is unfortunate, but, 30% chance is 30% chance. And I'm going to outspeed this Jellicent and hit him with a Toxic, which is freaking amazing, because getting a Jellicent Toxic is just superb, in my opinion. So he actually is going to go for the Taunt. Unfortunately, if he had outsped, it would have been a better situation for him, but it's not the case. As, he taunts me now, I can't use anything else. And, of course, I can't Scald him because of Water Absorb, but that's fine. I'm going to switch out here. I believe I go into my Genesect. Yes, I do go into my Genesect. So, this Genesect is made specifically for rain. It's got Bug Buzz, Thunder, Ice Beam, and U-Turn. And he's going to withdraw. He's going to double switch himself if I get the special attack boost. And he's going to go into his Ferroform. Now, what I could have done here is I could have hard switched out, but I decided, nah, I want damage, so I'm going to U-turn into something else. So, probably not the best play, just because of the Iron Barb's damage. I probably could have just hard switched and dealt with it, but not the case, as I'm going to switch out into my Landorus-T. So, and I guess he predicted me to have superpower on this thing. I do not carry superpower on my Landorus, but this is a perfect opportunity for him to get up a Stealth Rocks, which is great for him. And, you know, I don't care what he does to my Landorus, but I'm going to set up my own Stealth Rocks because I know it's going to be helpful. And he's going to switch out, and he's going to go into, I believe it's Rotom here. So, out comes his Rotom, as I get a perfect opportunity to set up my rocks due to the switch. Free rocks is always a great situation, and I can't get away from my thing. But, you know, I do not want to take a Hydro Pump, so I'm going to switch out and go into my Politoed, knowing the Hydro Pump is most likely on my coming its way. So, out comes my Politoed, and yes, it is in the exact position of a Hydro Pump, but unfortunately for him he misses. Not too crucial in my opinion, but yeah, it's still, you know, a miss is a miss, and I've definitely had my share of misses. So, he's going to withdraw his Rotom, and now he goes into his Ferroform, which for the most part walls Politoed, but what all Ferroforms have to fear, and none of them might appreciate it, is a Scald Burn. So, I'm going to go for the Scald, and it's going to do, you know, a pretty minimal amount of damage, but yeah, cats everywhere. But, yeah, I'm going to get some leftovers recovery, and unfortunately I don't get to burn that first turn, which is fine. It doesn't really bother me, but I'm hoping, because I just want to leave my Politoed in, just because I want to get a burn on this thing really badly. I don't really care if Politoed dies. It's going to be, you know, completely fine, in my opinion, if Politoed dies and, you know, I get the burn on him. So, he's going to try to Leech Seed. Unfortunately, he misses, and that sucks, because Leech Seed, you know, it's got pretty good accuracy, so, but, you know, Leech Seed misses, Leech Seed miss, and I'm going to go for another Scald, hoping to get that burn, and I believe this turn I get it, because that's when he hits his Leech Seed. Yes, I do get the burn, and he's going to hit his Leech Seed here, which, you know, I don't really mind. I mean, I could have switched to my Ferroform at any point and used him as Spike Fodder, but he probably has Spikes too, so I probably figured that probably wasn't the best course of action, since I lack a spinner on this team, so, which is kind of silly since I have a Tornadus, but, it's fine. Tornadus' Regenerator is somewhat rebuffed Stealth Rock, so it's not a big deal, I guess. But the burn is definitely going to cripple that Ferroform, which is great. So now I can really switch up my Politoed and go out into my Tornadus-T, which unfortunately does not do as much work in this game as I would have liked, because I overestimated Tornadus' physical attack here. So he's going for a Power Whip, which is a great animation in this in the game, in my opinion. So, you know, leftovers and all that fun stuff. The burn, I believe, is going to get him down to about half. Yeah, about half. But here I go for the Superpower. And, you know, Superpower is a base 120 power move. It's Life Orb boosted. I love that animation. It's beastly. And unfortunately, the Ferroform lives. And that threw me off so badly. And I was disgusted at that damage. I mean, Tornadus, why? I'm not even running, you know, I might have to attack nature. It's just, that sucks. But, unfortunately, now he's going to easily be able to KO me with a Gyro Ball. I'm wondering if Hurricane probably would have, I mean, I have a feeling that Hurricane probably would have killed him from that range, since he's probably a standard Ferroform like I am. The slightly better defensive investment. So, that kind of sucks, but now his Ferroform's living on a tiny smidgen of HP. Just gonna go out into my Landorus to finish him off. And the work guy's about halfway for this battle. Oh, you battles always take me forever to narrate. But Landorus is gonna finish off this Ferroform with an Earthquake, which is great. And Landorus-T still looking pretty. I mean, this Landorus-T is a, you know, a bulky pivot Stealth Rocker. I mean, it doesn't have much attack investment. It's mainly HP and defense, because it takes physical hits so well and kind of investment. So, but so I keep moving the camera around to get uncomfortable when I'm moving. But he's gonna bring on his Genesect here, and you know, I'm definitely fearing the Ice Beam. So I'm gonna go into my Politoed. I guess he predicts the switch, because you know he knows that I can't really lose my Landorus at this point. So he's gonna go for the U-turn, which is a good play on his part. And it's going to do not too much to my Politoed, because I think he got a special attack boost and arrows download. So, U-turn's going to happen, and he goes into his Rotom Wash. Not too big of a deal, I guess, because I can just scout him out. And, you know, I get some leftovers recovery and all that fun stuff. But, you know, my Politoed is known for, you know, stalling and stuff, so I'm going to protect just to scout out what he wants to do. And he is going to go for the Hydro Pump, actually predicting a switch, which isn't too big of a deal. I know my Politoed can take at least one. So my plan is to definitely get a Toxic off on this Rotom because it's been causing enough problems as he does hit a Hydro Pump, and it's going to do a pretty hefty chunk onto my Politoed. Now, it does so much. I really don't know if he was Scarfed or Specs, and that debate makes me think that he could have been Specs there because I have max HP, and I really didn't think just a stat Hydro Pump would bring me all the way down to 28 HP, but regardless, he probably is Specs, but you know, it's kind of threw me off the entire game because I probably could have used something else to outspeed it, but nothing could have KO'd it, so it didn't really matter, I guess. But you know, I just wanted to protect to get some more toxic damage on the Rotom. Not too big of a deal. I mean, some people don't like when you protect and you're going to kill anyway, but the thing is, I wanted some more toxic damage on it. So my plan was completely relevant. So, but he unfortunately hits the second Hydro Pump, and he's going to finish me off with that. So that was my Politoed, which isn't too big of a deal, but yeah, you know, stuff and stuff. So Rotom's now down to a pretty minuscule amount of HP. Now I'm going to go into my Genesect, and Genesect, again, is such a monster. It can fit on any team, and you can, you know, if you just teach it moves that best suit your team, such a versatile threat. I mean, I don't think it deserves to be Uber, in my opinion. It can be handled. It's just so good at what it does, that's all. But I'm going to use a Thunder and finish off that Rotom. But, I mean, I could have used Bug Buzz there, but I didn't want him to switch me into his Terrakion, so now I'm kind of faced with a pretty big problem in the form of Latias. Latias is such a big threat. I hate facing Latias. It's bulky and stuff, so I know I can't do anything to it, so I'm going to switch on to my Ferrothorn, and he actually switches himself into his own Genesect, which kind of surprised me, so leave Cat, and, yeah, Genesect. So, now I'm definitely throwing the Flamethrower here. I mean, you probably don't, it may kill from this range, you know, I don't have full special defensive investment, but, you know, I'm going to scout him out, and he had Voice Chin on, which I don't really approve of, but he groaned when he saw it. I had Protect on this thing, which is, you know, he's like, ah. But, I think he predicted there for my Keldeo to come in, which really stumped me, because I'm not going to bring out my Keldeo until that Jellicent's dead. That's the whole thing there. So, but he's going to bring back out his Latias, and I know he's going to switch there since he's now locked into Thunderbolt. So I'm going to go for the Leech Seed and plant this Latias with the Leech Seed, which is amazing because, I mean, it's kind of sad. My Ferrothorn was at such low HP before, and now I'm like 3/4 of the way back up. That's just how Ferrothorn trolls the entire, you know, metagame, I guess, unless, you know, you can take care of it early. But, yeah, now I've got a nice Leech Seed on this Latias, and he really can't do too much to me, especially when like an unboosted HP Fire. I really don't care if he has it at this point, but he does show me he has Calm Mind, which is kind of concerning because I really didn't know what set he was until I saw Calm Mind. So, but Ferrothorn trolls Latias pretty hard. It's going to smack it with a Gyro Ball, and that does a crap ton to this Latias, nearly takes him out, which is amazing. So, and I know I say amazing a lot, I'm sorry, but it's just a little thing I like to say. So, Lefty's is going to bring me up almost to full, and at least he will pretty much get me to that point, which is so great. Oh, yes, Ferrothorn, you're great, and I hate facing you, but I love using you. And he actually shows me Roost here, which is kind of interesting, and I don't understand why you run Roost over Recover, because I don't like to get rid of that ground immunity, just because, you know, it's an immunity, you don't really waste it, and Recover does the same thing, but teach their own, I suppose. And unfortunately, he's not going to recover enough to survive another Gyro Ball, so that Latias is gone. Thank goodness for Ferrothorn. And now out comes Jellicent, and Jellicent's such a troll, but getting that, you know, that Leech Seed on it, or the Toxic on it, was so huge, and I don't really care if Ferrothorn's burned at this point, so just let it get burned as I plant a Leech Seed on it. Not a big deal, because, you know, now Jellicent's Toxic, it's Leech Seeded, which is so great. And I think the only reason he brought in Jellicent was to burn my Ferrothorn, which isn't too big of a deal. I mean, you know, Jellicent really can't touch Ferrothorn other than taunting and forcing it to switch out. But now he's going to make he's going to switch out into his Terrakion, because Terrakion can easily force my Ferrothorn out. I mean, my Terraform's kind of useless at this point just because it's burned and stuff, and, you know, all I can do is really leech seed. But, you know, since I kind of anticipated the switch, this is my perfect opportunity to set up a one layer of spikes, which will just help me wear down Terrakion and Jellicent, and Genesect for that matter, so. But, yeah, lefties, and I get burned and nerd, but, you know, I'm pretty sure the close combat is coming, so I'm going to switch out. I'm going to bring out a pretty hard counter to Terrakion. Landorus-T is such a good check to Terrakion. It can even take Stone Edge as well, which is great. Going to get the Intimidate off, and Terrakion's close combat. Oh no, I'm so scared of close combat. And it barely does anything, and did like 90 damage of that, which is, you know, just proof how bulky Landorus-T is to intimidate. And, you know, some people say that Landorus-T sucks, but it's such a good pivot. Oh, it's amazing. But, knowing he can't do anything, he's going to switch out and go back into his Jellicent. But this is where the hazards start racking up, because thanks to Stealth Rock, thanks to Spikes, and I think they bring down to half, and this is going to be a perfect position where Landorus can easily take out Jellicent with a Stab Earthquake. I mean, even the minimal attack investment, I am adamant I have almost 400 attack. I think I have like 369 attack, or 370 attack or something like that. But, yeah, Jellicent's gone. Now, like, Keldeo can wreak havoc, which is superb. So, now, Genesect comes out. He's going to get a download special attack boost. Isn't it too big of a deal, but, you know, Ice Beam and stuff. So, I'm like, yeah, I got to switch out, especially since Landorus is such a big check to Terrakion. And, now, I'm definitely anticipating him to predict my Keldeo switch in, so I'm going to bring out my Terraform. He's going to go for the Thunderbolt, and it's going to do virtually nothing. So, I mean, it does a little bit, but, you know, it's negligible. So, I mean, down now, he's down to, I believe, his last two, which are Genesect and Terrakion. And he's going to withdraw his Genesect here and go back into Terrakion. Of course, I'm going to predict that, and I'm going to smack the Terrakion pretty hard with a Gyro Ball. If I wasn't burned, it would easily kill, but unfortunately, you know, I'm burned, and Gyro Ball is going to bring him down just over the red health. So, looking farther down, it just leaves him over the red. So, now, I really didn't know what he wanted to do, but I knew my Terraform's pretty useless, and if he locks himself into Stone Edge, he'll die from my own Gyro Ball. But started to go for the close combat, which wasn't too big of a deal to me. So he's going to take out my Terraform, which isn't, you know, I didn't care at that point because my Genesect can easily take out his Genesect, and because, you know, he'd have to lock himself into Ice Beam to beat my Landorus. So it wasn't too big of a problem, and my Terraform goes down. And now it's my Landorus-T, and knowing he can't do anything, he actually, after I take Stealth Rock, he decides to run. But so, it was a pretty good game. I really enjoyed playing it, so, you know, just an example of how great Landorus is, in my opinion. So, yeah, Landorus, Genesect, and Terraform really worked that game, so hope you guys enjoyed this semi-long OU battle, and, you know, as always, I apologize for not uploading as frequently, but, you know, so, but rate, comment, sub, and later, guys.